Hey, this is Matt Bradley-Tschirgi with Matt Chat. We're taking a look at a game here that is pretty exciting, doing an overview of it. It's Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. I want to give a shout out to Digital Eclipse and Atari for giving us a review code for this. And we are looking at overview of this collection with 23 games in it. The review code that you're seeing now, this is the Steam version, but it's also available on consoles like the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and the Xbox Series S and Series X systems. And, it uses things like the interactive documentary style in things like the Atari 50 or the Karateka or the Jeff Minter collection, other stuff that Digital Eclipse has done before. And it also has like post-launch content that's going to be free to come. So a pretty interesting combination of things here in the game. So let's get looking. We'll kind of do a brief overview here. So here's the title screen. You can set your resolutions, kind of things here in on this menu. As we back up, you can look at the combat card. Is a kind of a cool feature. You kind of see overview. I haven't played it too much yet, but we'll see as we kind of go through. It keeps your stats whether you're playing online or offline. It show I've won 3 times online in matches, and it shows the games I've played so far. My favorite stages, favorite characters. I mean, these kind of stats are fun. Favorite replays, recent replays, and it says of local versus mode, meaning local, meaning it's you're two people looking at the same TV or same computer screen playing together. In replays, you can do with it's multiplayer related as well. So the crypt, recall in other Mortal Kombat games, the crypt is where you have like bonus features and stuff, and this is the same case here. I think this would be a good place to start. We have things like the music player, and you can look at all these different soundtracks. So this is like Super Nintendo version of Mortal Kombat, Mortal Kombat 2, the Genesis version, right? Game Boy Advance, just the menu music and the Legacy Collection. You can also do your own playlist, which is cool. And then if you pick music here, then it plays over the main menu, which is nice. But for instance, if we're looking at the what are we doing here? Like, Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat, let's pick Living Forest, right? Shows the composer there on the left. Composers, in this case, Dan Ford and Mark Gatiss, Dean Morell, James Hebden, looks like, and Paul Webb, right? And you can pause it. And all these things. So, I mean, that you can do this different music is cool. It would have been nice if there's like notes about the music, some liner notes. Maybe that's something we'll see at some other point. But also the combatants, like this is really cool. And so you can look at any of these people in these games that are included. And in here, although I said 23 games, a lot of it is ports of different ones. But the main core games are Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, and 4. And if you look here at Liu Kang, it has kind of his bio here, a devout Shaolin monk and former member of the White Lotus Society. Liu Kang's humble nature belies an unmatched skill in martial arts. And we select it. We can go using the timeline feature and see, and for Mortal Kombat lore, I think this is really cool. Like it talks about Mortal Kombat, what his plot is. It shows his bio right from the game, his ending, which is, just a screen of text in these older games, right? But if we go, for instance, to, one of the later games, in Mortal Kombat 4, it should be video clips, I would think. You're showing the bio, and here you can, it doesn't, interesting, so like it doesn't show the video clips, but it has a summary, right, of the ending. In this case, Mortal Kombat 4, spoilers. Liu Kang despairs as he believes that while he defeated Shinnok and saved the Earth, he was unable to save Edenia. A portal appears and Katana steps through, telling him that his defeat of Shinnok freed her world. In gratitude, Katana offers him her hand in marriage to rule Edenia by her side. Saddened, Liu Kang declines, unable to set aside his duty as Earth's champion. Katana wishes him well and departs, right? So if you want to see and you're wondering what the different endings are for the different games, And also, like, this is like how it's all the text, right? Because it's screenshots. There's more text in Mortal Kombat 3, so you get like 2 screenshots worth. And that you could do that for all these characters is really funny, even for characters like Meat, who's a secret character in Mortal Kombat 4. So that's all good and fun here. Some characters like Goro, you know, you can see his bio and, you know, kind of iconic screenshots from that first Mortal Kombat, right? And it has the text below, and you can, of course, you can zoom in if you want. I don't know why you'd want to, but in this case, but that's good for some of the other stuff we'll see in the timeline mode. So we're going to back up here, and here's the documentary thing. This has the interactive documentary in the style of the Atari 50 thing, and it's really, really cool what we have here. And so I've looked at some of this ahead of recording this video, but it's divided up into a few sections. Prepare yourself, Mortal Mania, test your might, knowledge and power, and immortality. And knowledge and power talks about... So, I mean, it's all like chronological, right? So if you look at prepare yourself, you can kind of go and see, you know, some of its pictures. We can see this arcade flyer of Midway, who made Mortal Kombat, and one of their old school things of like back in the day. They also did a lot of pinball stuff, but Defender was a big game, and this is showing, you know, you can have kind of more of these tables setups for the game if you want at bars, or, you know, you just have this. Really cool stuff. And there's proper video clips in here too, showing different stuff, and they're even going into other stuff about Midway's history. Like you have this game Narc, but it uses some of that same using photos or kind of limited, you know, full motion video stuff, using stills of real people for in-game graphics. So when we look in here with Narc, we can see it's able to get that comparative realism, sort of, right, that we see later in Mortal Kombat, where you're photographing people against a blue screen and adding effects to it and then adding it to the game to make stuff more realistic, you know, more photographic. I wouldn't say photorealism, but, you know, looks more like a photograph than the standard kind of hand-drawn pixel art at the time. Like Pit Fighter was a big one from them back in the day. And like today's standards, right, Pit Fighter looks really, really crude. But it's really important, like it was the first step before you got Mortal Kombat. And at the time, like this looked really impressive, even though the gameplay is, you know, frankly not that great. That talks about, you know, Smash TV Street Fighter, right? Talks about their competitors, which you don't always see in these things. And if we're doing a video, this is one about them talking about the plans for Mortal Kombat. And there's Total Carnage.
John was finishing Total Carnage and I was finishing...
So these documentaries, right, have newer clips in of new interviews, has, you know, vintage interviews, gives you context of the history of what's going on. These sketches of, like, the artwork is cool, right? You can zoom in on this pencil artwork of, you know, in this case, it's Shan Lao. It mentions here Johnny Cage was originally called Michael Grimm. I think Johnny Cage is a much better name, right? And it has, like, the loose bios. You can see kind of the stuff that inspired the games. As we go here, right, you can go chronologically and kind of look at different things here. See some of this, like another example.
Definitely you
can fast forward.
Mortal Kombat. It was our first 3D game, obviously.
You can fast forward through here, right? So or you can go backwards, kind of these VCR controls. But it's talking about like this 3D modeling
changing, so you always have to
here.
stay on top of it. And I think MK4
and with MK4 I had the 3D graphics with the polygons, which was different from the sprite based, you know, based on photographing the live actors. And concept artwork, right? So concept artwork with some of this 3D environments, and you can zoom in, turn that text on and off. Real cool stuff there. So we looked a little bit at that. Why don't we look briefly through the games we have on there and kind of hit these highlights. So to explain what this means on the menu, that it says like offline, that just means you're playing locally. And this can include 2-player. It doesn't have to. It's like single player or 2-player, but on the same screen. Quick match is online. If you go to online options, as I said, there's going to be, after the game just came out just recently, but after launch, the multiplayer online is going to eventually get like lobbies and stuff. But right now, it's just you can select what kind of connection strength you want, or cross-region matchmaking. Input lag, we're going to leave that as the default. In quick match, why don't we see if we can get into a match right now. The game just launched. There's a lot of people hammering it. And you can do it for not all the games, but some. But you can, if you want arcade only, you can look at that. Or console, you can do some of the console games online as well. So if we're trying to do arcade, let's say we want to try this new one, right? The WaveNet. That's one of the big selling points of this collection. And can we find a match to play? I'm recording this pretty early in the morning. The game just came out. There's some hiccups with the multiplayer stuff that they'll be working on with a patch. But are we going to find a match? Let's see. Once they add lobbies and things, it'll be easier to tell who's available and what game to play against. With the quick match, you're just at the mercy if it happens to find a match, and that you don't see like a timer here is sort of interesting. It'll eventually time out, but we're not getting a match here. So let's back up. Let's just look at the offline stuff. It said online session shutting down is what I just said there. So here. So we can see, look at all these games, right? All these different versions too. I mean, is it every version ever? No. I don't think it's ever going to be, but you never know. I mean, there's post-launch content. Are there going to be versions of the Tiger handheld electronic games? I have no idea. But I mean, look, we have like the original Mortal Kombat arcade, the Genesis version, the SNES version. This is Game Boy, Game Gear, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 2 Genesis, Mortal Kombat 2. That'd be the 32X, looks like. SNES, Game Boy, Mortal Kombat 2, Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 3 Genesis. You're sensing the pattern, right? Mortal Kombat 3 SNES, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 WaveNet, which was an early example of an arcade game that could do online play between other, WaveNet machines in '97, which is really way ahead of the curve for that kind of a thing. So that they even tried to do the internet stuff in the arcade, and then they have it working on the new version is pretty neat. Ultimate Mortal Kombat on SNES, Mortal Kombat Trilogy, PlayStation 1. I'm a little surprised the N64 version isn't here. Maybe that one's coming. I remember the N64 version of MK Trilogy being pretty big. We get these some of these prequel games that are PlayStation 1 titles. Or what we have here is a PlayStation 1 version of Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. There's not the N64 version. Mortal Kombat IV, the arcade. Mortal Kombat Special Forces, it's another prequel. This one's about Jax. We're going to dip into these games, quickly, so I'm just getting an overview right now. Mortal Kombat Advance on Game Boy Advance. Mortal Kombat V, Deadly Alliance, which was the first PS2 game. It has the Game Boy Advance version. And we have Mortal Kombat Tournament Edition, also Game Boy Advance. So that is 23 games, hell of a lot of games. Let's start from the beginning and go through it. Woof. You can also sort arcade-only, console, and handheld, which is nice. And there's a lot of ease-of-use features, as we'll see. So if we're going to go into Mortal Kombat and go into well, first off, you can see like the game flyers and things. And I mean, this one's just iconic. Look at this, right? You have Raiden and Kano grabbing the kids. I think they're kids of some of the developers or something, right? So real it hurts. I mean, yeah, I remember seeing that in arcades and in magazines and stuff at the time. Really cool stuff. You can change the controls. You have something called Fatality training, where let's show that off. I mean, this is pretty interesting. So you can select a stage. You can do it random. This is with the arcade version, but in a lot of the other games you can do this as well. Let's do the pit, right? That's classic. And what this has you do is you just basically warp into a match where it shows you exactly where to do the fatalities. It shows the buttons and inputs on the screen. And it's a good way to kind of master these things. Instead of before, you'd have to do something else. So if we're going to play as Johnny Cage, everyone's favorite jerk. And we can see here, right, we have to be within here to do the fatality. And if we do, right, that's his fatality. And then you can just, do it with a different combatant, different stage. So like if we're doing a different combatant, we can do, let's do Kano's, right? Because that's one that was censored in like the SNES version. So again, we got to be at the close distance, and we go ripping the heart out, right? Good stuff. Good stuff. So that they have these training modes, I think, is really thoughtful. And then as we go back and whoops, went back a bit too far. We go in here and look at game settings. You can do stuff like if you want the blood on or off. I don't know why you'd want it off, but there you go. You can adjust the difficulty. Like if we do, let's do extra easy because the arcade can be kind of cheap, right? You can have unlimited round timers if you want. I mean, this is like kind of, some of these are sort of like dip switches that would be in the original arcade machine. Some of these aren't. Low blow. Oh, I mean, it's a move he has, right, where I think you hit him in the nuts, right? You can toggle that on or off. One button fatality for people that, don't want to learn the moves or aren't able to input them fast enough within the time. That's a nice accessibility feature. And within the games, you can have it where it displays your character's special moves in the corner, which is nice as you get older and your memory isn't as good. So you can see these without having to memorize them like in the old day, right? So if we go here under options, we can put on-screen move list to on. Like, I really love this feature. This should be standard in a lot of fighting games. Why should you have to pause and glance at the special moves and then memorize them if you don't want to? Like, this is, some of the really smart things they have in this Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. So as we're doing this, so let's just do good old Sub-Zero, yeah? Only 7 people in that first Mortal Kombat game, right? So you're doing this, it's just called Battle Plan, you're climbing the tower, right? Fighting the guys. And we can see, like, it's really such few moves in this game, right? You can always be cheap with the... Again, I'm playing this on easy mode for the arcade. It's also worth mentioning with the screen options, by default it has these filters to look more accurate, like a TV, but you can make it look like a curved TV or turn it off. So if it looks off, right, and the border can be arcade or off, but if we turn off the filter, it looks like this, so you can see the difference. I think they did a good job with the filters. I prefer playing with them off, but that's up to you. And if you do the ice freeze, oh, come on. Right, and you can, uppercut's usually a better move there. Okay, you can do that. Got the good blood effects, so... Right, so it's just 2 moves. That's really astonishing compared to how complicated the later games get. I had this on Super Nintendo, which was the censored version. We'll play a bit of that. So I got beat up by Sonya. I want to do the fatality. Also, if a game has secret characters, you can have them unlocked through the menu if you like, which is also nice. It's trying to be going for, ease of use, so didn't do it quick enough, but forward, down, forward, high punch. So we're gonna... I tried to do a fatality for him last time. You got the classic. I always like this with the statues in the background. So that the slide move requires 3 simultaneous presses is kind of a pain in the ass. It's a bit unusual.
Sub-Zero wins.
So here we're, the music I could never hear in the arcades at the time because the arcades would be so loud, and these old games like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and stuff would really have quite the crowd doing them. Oh, come on. No. Stop it. Come on. Well, oh well. That's kind of cool that I froze him. There you go. Well, you get the idea. So we'll go and back up and do another one. So you can save in-game and load if you want, which is cool. The on-screen move list, I cannot stress enough how cool that is. So now that we did this, right, why don't we see, what it's like on Sega Genesis. And you can see, visually, it's not a great... This one played faster than the SNES version. It had blood. I think by default the blood code is on in this version. But the Genesis one vastly outsold the SNES one because it had the blood, even though you had to do it with a code, right? I like how Mortal Kombat has the trademark in the description. So here we're gonna go and do it. We can see already, right, these graphics, and this is accurate to how this stuff looked, but like there's less colors in the Genesis and stuff. So let's do old Sonya Blade, and let's it saves that on-screen move list, for all the games unless you have them on or off. But we can see there's less fidelity here.
Fight.
So we can do that square wave punch is kind of wacky, isn't it? Look at that. Looks like a Superman move. That leg block or grab is she does it in the movie. Notice in the back there's so the monks look less detailed than the arcade one. The music isn't great, but you have the blood, even though it may not seem like a lot now, right? But that was a huge selling point, the blood on this version. Big selling point. Come on. Let's see if we can do this. Tap, tap. Nice. Kiss of death. Yeah. Sonya wins. All that stuff. I was a big Mortal Kombat nut back in the day. Loved that first movie, and I still do in a way. It's it is, that is PG-13, it is neutered a bit, but I'm hoping this Mortal Kombat 2 movie is pretty fun. I am getting all these damn Windows updates with the noises in the background. Apologies. Okay. I'll go into my settings and change it. Alright, so here's like the SNES version, right? And in this default filter, that it looks like a TV with the old inputs on the top. I haven't thought of this SNES version of Mortal Kombat in a while. And can you add blood in here to the SNES run? I don't think you can, right? Additional settings, no. You can tell it to automatically face Reptile if you want, right? Because he's a secret character. You can fight against, you can't play as him. On-screen move list, let's turn it on. For this game, you have to turn it on or off for the different games individually. What I do wish is with screen options, if filter, it would apply it to everything. That you have to do it for everyone's a little bit annoying. But I guess that you can have it on for certain games and have it not is a cool option. So I was mentioning the post-launch content that this game will be getting for free. One is something that seems cool. It seems almost like an ebook or something. It's called The Chronicle of the Realms, and it'll be an illustrated guide to the game's lore and characters. So curious as to what that'll look like. In the past with Atari 50 and stuff, they've released like new games and things. So I imagine we'll get new games with this, but that's not for certain. But that we're certainly getting the online lobbies will be huge. Albeit not quite at launch, and this Chronicles of the Realms ebook thing will be cool, and we'll see, whatever else is on there. So let's look here, Mortal Kombat Tournament or Options. The title screen is different. I would play this so much. Man, did I have the move list on? We'll see. So we can see like it's slower to load because it's the SNES version. The SNES had a really slow processor compared to the Genesis. And so the colors in this, look, even how Shane Sun looks is more accurate to the arcade. You have that parallax scrolling. But the play is a bit more sluggish, which is authentic to how it was, right? Like, and there's no blood, there's just the sweat. Which is what, at the time the Mortal Kombat 1 came out for SNES, you didn't have the ESRB rating system. So, because Nintendo had their family-friendly image, they said, we're not going to have blood, and this did not sell as well as the Genesis version because of it. I mean, it still sold well because it was Mortal Kombat, but... Damn it. So let me pay attention here and try and... And that you can compare, these different versions on here is really, really cool. Like I'm a big, I've written a few books on video game history. I have one on Star Trek, damn it. I have one on Star Trek video games. I have one on Doom, the Doom video game, DOM, like id Software Doom, coming out sometime next year, next summer, I think. I got another one in the works I cannot speak about, but that's that. But yeah, I mean, so I love video games, video game history. That you can do all this stuff is really cool. And we'll look at the next. The Game Boy version is quite the reach, and it's nice with you can see the manuals and stuff for these games, which I like. And you have this kind of comic book artwork. I think it's actually from the comic book. Come to think of it. So is the instruction manual necessary? No, but it's a nice thing to have. And it can be Game Boy Color mode if you want it in color or not. You can play as Goro if you want, which is a character you can unlock. Fixed difficulty, like that's kind of interesting, where instead of it getting harder as it goes on, it doesn't. So in the settings, you cannot go and do the on-screen moves, I think, with this one. And by default, I really like how this Game Boy filter looks. And I'll show you what it looks like with it turned off in a second. But, oh, you can do on-screen move list, excuse me. Okay, so let's always put that on. I mean, so right away, that classic sort of Game Boy sound is what it is. Like, it's just different, right? You can only play 6 people. No Johnny Cage, that's too bad. Will be Liu Kang. And we can see here, if I go into screen options and turn off the LCD feature, it looks like this, which is quite different, right? So whatever one you like is... So yeah, this game is not great on Game Boy, but I love that it's here. This is really... The delay on this is just as bad as I remember on the original. All right, I mean, yeah, it's really... The timing is like... Come on. No! Oh, come on, Liu Kang. Get him. Shit. So let's do this again with a fireball. It's almost like abstract art at this point with the... Wonder why they decided not to have Johnny Cage for this one. I know they limited the characters because of the cartridge limitations, right? That seems to be pretty good. Spam them with jump kicks, right? See if I can pull off a damn fatality here. Get him. Yeah. Kane wins. Doesn't even say Liu Kang, right? course, Game Boy just had 2 buttons, right? I did not own Mortal Kombat on Game Boy. I did own Street Fighter on Game Boy. Street Fighter 2, excuse me. Oh, come on. Come on, Kano. Watch me lose one match in every one of these games. Ugh. Come on. So he did not do a fatality on me, but you get the idea, right? So that's the Game Boy version. It is what it is. That you can do save states in all of these is really cool. Move on to Game Gear. We got 23 games, and we've done, what, 5 or 6? Got a lot more to go in this little overview. So Game Gear is Sega's portable system, if you don't know. It was, in color. It ate through batteries like a vacuum or something. No, that's a bad metaphor. It really, I had a friend that his Game Gear blew through so many batteries, and the batteries could get expensive that his dad was like, if you're going to play this, you're going to play it plugged into the wall. He wouldn't even let him put batteries in it. Now this one, look, you can't play as Kano, but you can play as Johnny Cage in this version. So let's play as old Johnny. And if we go here, right, we're going to turn on-screen move list, and for screen options, let's turn off the LCD. Lets you pick a difficulty. Not all the games did. Has these endurance matches, right, where it's back-to-back. And the music on this is a little goofy. So some people might wonder, why bother with the portable ones? But a lot of people had these on portable, because one, they were cheaper than the main console games, and it's just a big part of the history is the portable version, even though it is, technically inferior. Sometimes these things are quite fast for the systems, and they have kind of jank, or people have the fond memories. Come on. I did not finish him. But this one, the Game Gear certainly plays better than the other version, than the Game Boy one, right? So we're going to quit the game. A little sip of water, excuse me. We'll go back. No. We do the arcade Mortal Kombat 2, right? So this came out in 93. The original is 92. So only... I mean, man, that the next one came out the next year is really fast for this sort of thing. Let me show you Fatality training. Because even the regular training, we can do the Fatality training here. I showed you it once before, but this in Mortal Kombat 2, where you have more of the fatalities, it's kind of more fun to see, right? And we'll do the Shao Kahn's arena, right? Oof. Okay. So fight. And here, I do not like the filters. Let me turn those off. This will be Baraka, right? One of the new characters. I mean, Mortal Kombat 2, the graphics are a lot better than the first one. It's almost double the players. So here, right, you can switch which ones we're practicing, right? So if we're doing a friendship, right, up. The friendships are a parody of fatalities, where they just do something very silly, right? Even more humiliating is the babalities, where you turn the character into a baby. This was kind of, in the press, Mortal Kombat 1 was very controversial for its violence. So with this, They added babalities and friendships to Mortal Kombat 2 to kind of make fun of the press a bit. So if we do the second fatality, for example, this shows us the zone we're supposed to be in, and with the unlimited timer so we can practice, but in the actual game it's a short timer, right? We're good to... These fatalities seem really quaint nowadays, right? At the time, these were considered gross and vile, and there was like Senate hearings about video game violence and how what the way they were treating video games. In the government was similar. How you had comic books was like a big controversy decades before that. So if we even fatality training, you can swap to a different game to do fatality training. Oh wait, that's not true. Anyway. No lack of options. Let's play a quick Mortal Kombat 2 match as we continue through looking at these different versions in this overview. And you get more lore, right? 500 years ago, Shang Tsung was banished to the Earth realm. With the aid of Goro, he was able to... so it talks about in the first game, right? Canonically, Liu Kang is the one that won the tournament. However, Shang Tsung convinces his leader, Shao Kahn, to not execute him. So now instead, in the first game, right, with the lore, they did the tournament on Earth. This one is now in the, what do you say, the Outworld, something like that. So here we're gonna, I gotta switch the screen options again? Yep, even though we switched it, so. We can go here and let's do Raiden. Do we have a move list on? Let's do that. So now it says battle plan again. Right, you fight. This one, Shang Tsung is younger. We did not adjust the difficulty, so maybe I'll get creamed on this. You can no. No. Damn it. Okay, let's see here. Oh, we got that pit fatality. Got my butt kicked on that one. Let's keep on going as we go back to the menu. So I'm hoping this is, an entertaining preview of what this game has. Mortal Kombat 2, this is the Genesis version. This is worth mentioning as it says there. So the Genesis had 3 buttons on the control pad, A, B, and C, and then the start button. And you could pay more money, get the 6-button control pad so you could have better controls that are more accurate to the arcade, and that's something the Super Nintendo had a controller with a lot more buttons, and that allowed for more, in some cases, more complexity in games. Let's keep that. Why don't we, instead of turning that filter on, so in additional settings, right, there's things you can face these secret characters, Jade, Noob Saibot, and Smoke. You can do test modes if you want. Screen options, instead of TV, we can do TV curved. I'll show you what that looks like. Though you can turn the filters off is the important thing. I don't really care if the filters are there, but they've gotten much better with them as these games go on. Okay, right, so this is the Genesis version. And we can see, some dithering. It's more grainy. We can see it kind of curves towards the far left and right ends, just like it did on a regular TV. We'll play as Melina. Why not? She has the monster mouth underneath her face.
Fight.
So again, not a lot of special moves in these early games. Oh, that's a good one. I got the toasty thing. The characters are smaller in the console version than the arcade. on. That little toasty guy has blood turned on by default, unlike the original Mortal Kombat on the Genesis, where you had to do a code. It's like ABC, ACAB, or whatever. Okay, so let's do... Damn it. Didn't do the Fatality. You get the idea. So we have this, right? So let's see how the SNES version looks. Then they do, you know, Game Gear, all that stuff. Got a lot of games to go. Oh, this is the 32X. Right. Okay, the 32X... Yeah, this is important. So 32X was a system, an add-on system to the Genesis that didn't sell very well, but the idea is to give it more processing power and better sound. And this has a better color palette and more frames of animation. So move list on, because I'm lazy and I don't remember the moves. That's my probe. So we can hear the music. Sound effects sound a bit more bassy. Maybe it's just me. Okay, this is Kun Lao, who is Liu Kang's mentor, if I believe. It's been a little bit with some of this lore. Okay. So we can see these colors are better. The characters are still a bit small, but that's to be expected in these... But that you could compare all these different versions is super cool, right? Got smacked in the face there by Baraka. This is why I'm not a professional video game player. Okay. Punching everyone in the face. So what's the whirlwind spin? Up, 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 low kick. Sometimes the timing is, you know, different because of the different versions of these games have different lag. Let's see, because I had the original Mortal Kombat on Super Nintendo, and my friend had Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 on the Genesis. Damn it. Wrong button. Oh well. So we're going to move on to a different one. So we looked at Genesis, Mortal Kombat 2. Let's look at Super Nintendo version. I rented this for sure, and I remember showing off the reptile fatality to my dad where he eats the guy's face off. And my dad looked nauseous and angry because the rating system wasn't anything at the time. You know, I was certainly younger than 17 or whatever the cutoff for the M rating is. I would have been maybe 13 or so. So here for new on-screen move list on. So like, you know, unlike the, so that first game only had 7 characters, and this has 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, right? It has almost twice as many characters and so forth. So we'll play, whoops, well, I guess we'll do as Baraka. I would have done Jax had I paid attention. Oh well. In the Super Nintendo version, we can see it's pretty colorful. The characters are a bit bigger than the Genesis version, it looks like. Again, the play is a little bit slower. Get him. Baraka has the teeth. He's always scary looking. There's a kid in middle school that would call him Barca, who we tease a little bit sometimes. It's all good fun. It looks like he's wearing, like, I never noticed like the red stripes in his pants before. It's like kind of like gym pants or something. Maybe Baraka's at the gym with all his other friends. What, in the cartoon, you had a bunch of like dudes that all were the same species as Baraka. Okay. Nice. Oh, and he slides at the end. Gross. Cool, cool, cool. Fatality. Yeah, I'm not sure what the Genesis or Super Nintendo Mortal Kombat 2, which one sold more. But certainly the blood certainly helped with the sales of the Nintendo one. So we're going to go back. And look at the Game Boy version of Mortal Kombat 2, which is a lot faster and better than Mortal Kombat 1. Only features 8 of the original 12 combatants, it says. So I'll keep the filter on with the LCD thing, and you can see what you think of it compared to having it off like before. Oh, we already have the on-screen move list on. Excellent. Okay. Gonna get the funky Game Boy music. So we got Liu Kang, Sub-Zero, Reptile, Scorpion, Katana Melina, Shane Sun, and Jax. They keep on leaving out my boy Johnny Cage, man. No love for Johnny. Oh wait, Johnny Cage, maybe he wasn't in Mortal Kombat 2. I can't remember. Yeah, I mean, this already is a lot more responsive than that Game Boy one. You even get that toasty in the corner, that's funny. Come on. Always got that sweep move is consistently one of the cheaper moves you can do. Do the gotcha grab, forward. Damn it, no. It's gonna have to be cheap here. It's just shameless, isn't it? Shit. Yeah. So there we go. You cannot complain they don't have enough versions of the different games on here. Is it every... I mean, it's not every version. Can they do every version with emulation stuff and getting the rights? Like, I have no idea. Like, you know, of course, there's the stuff on Saturn and other stuff, but it's really hard to complain with the amount of Mortal Kombat games you get on here. So, Mortal Kombat 3. This came out in 95, so 2 years after... Wait. Yeah, 2 years after Mortal Kombat 2. In the arcades. So yeah, it felt like a really long wait for Mortal Kombat 3, and this one, it takes place on Earth, and the bad guys have kind of won, and so like Earth is like corrupted by all this outworld stuff. Yeah, it has a run button. Right, that's a big thing. Let's do a fatality training, why not? And it has these like codes and stuff, right? As the game is loading, that unlocks characters. It can make, you know, punches stronger, all kinds of crazy stuff. I mean, that was something where in the magazines they'd list what these codes were. So let's have it set. You know, of course, more stages. Noob's Dorphin. What the hell is a Dorphin? Who knows, man? Oh, I like this one, the Soul Chamber. Yeah, I remember this one being cool. All right. You have 15 characters again, so an increase over what we had in Mortal Kombat 2. Let's go. I think this guy was a bit goofy. Cabal, right? Okay, so we'll do. He's just gonna. Of course, yeah, this has all the bones and guts and stuff. So if we select a new combatant, yeah, some of these fatalities in Mortal Kombat 3 get really goofy. I thought Stryker is just so lame because he's just the expression's very funny on this screen. Okay, so his what? Okay. This is forward, low kick. Oh, I gotta be a full screen away. That's why that didn't work. Okay. There you go, right? Yeah, the green part's where you have to be. So he just tases him to death. The graphics in this one, I think, have a lot more animation in the background. And let's just do another one. This is, oh, the animality thing. Here, I'm not sure what the controls are for run. Oh, R2, what is that? R1, okay. So within this, it'll be animality as they transform into an animal. He's the T-Rex. It's that the hands are just floating. I mean, yeah, the sense of humor has always been there in the Mortal Kombat games. I think it's a bit more, you know, noticeable here. Hachi-Machi, okay. Mortal Kombat 3. And we're going to play a game. I'll just play a match against someone. We'll do on-screen move list. Keep going. And yeah, this is Sub-Zero, and he's technically Sub-Zero's brother. There's difficulty selection is interesting for an arcade game. You didn't see that too often. And look at all the special moves, right? You have so many more. You have like twice the number of special moves, or if not 3 times as much as that first game. So right there, running, you can be like aggressive and keep them from tanking. Tanking meaning, you know, they just block all your moves and stay in a corner and kind of turtle. Oh, that's cool. This stage is kind of uninspired, I thought. It looks like you're like with the Hunchback in Notre Dame here with the ropes and whatever. Let's do the old... And the resolution in this certainly looks crisper than Mortal Kombat 2, I seem to recall. Like, I thought like graphics could not get better than this at the time. Oh, the ice clone move is cool. Right? So if they... I think if they bump into the clone, they freeze. Something like that. Come on. Okay, so that's the arcade. So now we're going to see the handheld versions and the WaveNet thing, right? And then Mortal Kombat 4, of course, and they got the spin-off games too. So this is Mortal Kombat 3 on Genesis. And I will try something here in the game settings that's different so we can play against like a secret person, right? So if we go here, go additional settings, on-screen move list. Let's see. So different publishers on these games. So it was like Acclaim, and this is Williams, right? Man, I mean, Mortal Kombat 3, you can see that the Genesis version visually takes a big hit, but it still plays really fast. I thought Kano looked cool with the red outfit here, because he was not in Mortal Kombat 2. So as we're seeing all these things, and the characters look like little people, right? A bit compared to how big they were in that arcade version. But you can still do that, like up in certain stages, you know, mark them up for the background. Like in the background, that tower looks like the thing out of Tron, the commander thing out of Tron. Like that's a bit goofy looking, but they're limited with what they had, man. Sonya Blade kicked my butt. The blood seems, you know, there's more animation on the blood than in the earlier games. The detail of the trash flying across the street is a neat bit of sort of storytelling in a way, where it's environmental storytelling, right? Where it's like that there's trash flying around, that there's not civilians around, mean the Earth is in kind of like apocalypse mode, right? With Shao Kahn trying to merge the Earth and the Outer Realms. Come on. And get the toasty. Never fails to please. Oh, come on. And then we'll do, yeah. That's why you do it in the Fatality Trainer, because it's a really limited window for these things. Okay, so we're going to go back and go to Quit Game, Slammo, SNES version. Let's go. I don't know if I ever rented this on Super Nintendo at the time. I must have played it at a display in the store, but the only one I owned was that first one, and I think I wish I would have waited to get, like, 2 or 3, one with more of the players. So the SNES version, has more colors. You can see there's hidden characters in the middle thing, right? So that's cool. We'll play as Sub-Zero again. So like Master. I'm not sure if Master makes it harder or just means you just have to fight more people. See in the background of the subway it says Boone. Whoa! It said Boone Tobias. So already, right, there's more detail in that background tower I was complaining about before. So I'm getting my ass kicked. Come on, man. No. Damn it. Okay, let's see. I guess I'm doing old school without the move list. No, that's not good. But this one, although the character's still kind of small with the colors and things, it's kind of a trade-off. Do you prefer the faster gameplay of the Genesis version? Like, who knows? Sometimes they finish you, and so a lot of times they just uppercut you when the computer beats you. So now we're going to look at portable versions, and then marching our way through here. A lot of games, so little time. Okay, Mortal Kombat 3, so what's the difference? More character, Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3. Came out the same year as Mortal Kombat 3 in the arcades. That's kind of crazy. More characters, more secrets, and a variety of adjustments makes this the definitive MK3. This keeps the arcade spirits fresh during the periods when the home versions, okay, that makes more sense, of the original MK3 are being released. It's still used in... So we can play as one of the new people. Why don't we just do that? On-screen move list on. So it has a parental advisory was something they had to add. Because with an arcade, right, you don't have to be age verified or anything. And yeah, you can do 8-player combat. So we can see, like, Scorpion was not... You have Jade. We can see it expands a bit out, so it is quite a bit new characters here. Let's do Jade with her cool little... It has a 4th difficulty mode. It had that tournament mode where you can... Where it's like a ladder tournament, right? Where you load up different characters. She has a boomerang. Let's keep... Go. That's a bit like Johnny Cage's move, isn't it? That kick. Projectile invulnerability, that's kind of cool. And it's cool that Jade is, is not just like a palette swap of Melina or something, right? You do have like Scorpion, I mean there's several characters that are the palette swaps that's, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Smoke, Noob Saibot, all that stuff. But that Jade, Katana, and Melina are different is something I always appreciated. Just spam them with the... Get them. Okay, so now we're going to do... Not quite fast enough. Blah. Okay. So Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 more, it's kind of, the definitive Mortal Kombat version. And WaveNet, says it works with Midway's, I see, an unreleased online multiplayer service, WaveNet. So it's like a prototype. So WaveNet servers no longer exist. This version can be played online or in local combat mode. Additionally, you can have Noob Saibot or Human Smoke as playable characters. I mean, yeah, this was the big thing here. For additional settings, we'll have we'll play as Noob Saibot, and we'll do on-screen move list. So it's simulating downloading the WaveNet data. Of course, it's that the WaveNet servers don't exist. WaveNet Combat, local combat, WaveNet. That you could see news is really, So like patch notes maybe, or who would want to see news in an arcade game? That's what a curious choice. And whoever I pick, it's going to turn into Noob Saibot, I believe, is what they said. They're both called Master. There's not like a different name there. Okay. The E is for the endurance, I think, right? If I do additional settings, how does this work? Play. I see. You have to play as Kano. Is that it? Okay. So if we just reset the game then, and I play as Kano, then it should make me into Noob Saibot. Let's see. Let's try that out. I mean, yeah, the selection of games you get in here is more than, frankly, I was expecting as part of the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collections. Really curious as to what else of the post-launch content will be. Maybe they'll even put episodes of the cartoon or something on there. Like, you never know. Sometimes there's really surprising choices as to what they put out there. That would have been cool if they would have simulated the WaveNet news just to see what thing they had planned for it. That strikes me as really... Okay, so got to pay attention. Kano, with Noob Saibot mode on, I'll be Noob Saibot, I think. If not, then I just did it wrong with the menu. But, awesome. Okay. Yeah, so Noob Saibot is just like the Shadow, but he got his own lore proper. That he has like oil as blood, I think is kind of cool. And he looks like kind of a glitch. And does... Yeah, he was a secret character originally, I forget what game. And Noob Saibot is an anagram of the last names of the creators of Mortal Kombat, Ed Boon and... is it John Tobias? Forgive me, I don't have that in front of me. Something like that. But Noob Saibot just sounds kind of cool. It sounds like a secret character's name, so I can see why they did it. You know, had their last name been like Smith or something, you couldn't have that backwards. Make a lot of sense unless it was maybe science fiction. Have that iconic laughing in the background. Come on. Let's jump kick these guys. Get them. So sad. Okay. Let's keep marching along here as we go through this preview of Mortal Kombat Legacy